Hello, Tim from Fair Play now on the 9th of January 2022, and I just thought I'd give a few observations from my day today. And the first one is we went to our local stand in the park this morning. It was a gorgeous day today, at least here in the southeast of England. Sort of bright sunshine and not too cold either, so it was very, very nice, and a really great turnout at the stand in the park, including a couple from Australia who seem to have somehow managed to escape that particular gulag and made their way to this country. And some of the stuff they're talking about is concerning. They were talking about how apparently Chinese troops were seen there a couple of years ago, and the Chinese Navy doing exercises off the coast of Queensland and all this kind of thing, and God knows what that's all about, but that was what we heard this morning. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. Just a few observations, like I say, and one of them was we park in this car park about a 5-minute walk from where our stand in the park is, and when we drove in, there was all the cars. There was probably about 30 cars in there, and all of them were kind of huddled up, parked right close together, and in a relatively small section of this car park, which is huge. And I just thought, why don't people just spread themselves out a bit more? And so what I did, and this is what I always do, I don't just sort of go and squeeze in where all the other parked cars are. I go to a totally empty bit of car park where it's obviously a lot easier to park, and you haven't got sort of people who are going to open their doors onto your car and all that kind of thing. And one of the things I keep coming back to is what makes us different from everybody else. Why can we see this whole situation we're in for the rather obvious, in my eyes, rather obvious scam that it is, and so many other people out there can't? What is it about us that makes us like that? And is one of the things, we tend to think a little bit differently, and a very small example of that is we don't just park our cars where everybody else parks their cars. We are willing to drive to a part of the car park that's relatively empty, even if you have to walk a bit further, which after all is perfectly good exercise for you anyway. And I'm just wondering if that kind of independence of thought is one of the things that makes us different. Tell me in the comment section below if you do that, if you park your sort of car not where everybody else does, but in a quieter part of the car park, because it's something I've done for years and years and years. So the second thing, after we were at the stand in the park, where incidentally I had a very good conversation with this lady who's just bought herself a high top, long wheelbase transit van, which she's in the process of making into a stealth camper van, which, who knows, may well be needed, but it'll at least be a nice recreational vehicle for her to go camping in during the summer. And I have been asked to do the electrics in that, putting in the leisure battery and all that kind of thing, as and when that time arrives in her project for that to be done. So that might be something I'll report on in weeks and months to come. But anyway, after that stand in the park, we went to meet some friends in a pub, had a nice kind of Sunday roast dinner there, all very nice, all very civilised. And we actually went to this pub Probably, well, more or less this time last month to meet some other friends. And at that point, a month ago, which wasn't too far after the reintroduction of the whole that malarkey, the staff were kind of wearing those things, or some of them were. Well, I'm delighted today to report that none of the staff and most of the customers weren't wearing them. Some of them were doing the whole silly thing of putting them on just to come in, taking them off when they were sat down, but many of them weren't even doing that. And the great thing is the staff weren't doing it. So that's a little step in the right direction, and another little sign of war weariness, if I can describe it like that, is the friends who we met who are actually very, very kind of mainstream, shall we say, but even they were talking today how, you know, it's just time to end all of this, just get back to some semblance of normality, and just to use her words, the lady of the couple, her words, time to just get on with it. And yeah, I think more and more people out there, no matter how in with the narrative they are just, they've just had enough, basically. They've just had enough. So that is why I'm going to make another prediction, which is always dangerous. Yeah, I appreciate that, but I think the threat of any more lockdowns here in England are rapidly receding. Indeed, any further restrictions, the threat of that is rapidly receding. You know, they couldn't even do the for school kids without getting a ton of pushback, could they? You know, those schools in the northwest where apparently most of the kids are refusing to sort of put the things on, or to do a certain kind of test, is massive. The numbers of people in these schools refusing to do that is massive. Yeah, so the signs of pushback are there, they're massive, and there just isn't the will in this country now to tolerate any further restrictions. So that is why I'm going to make the prediction that we will not be seeing any more lockdowns, and let's hope the whole threat of that is behind us now. So I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.